They were designed to drain your resources. They were designed to encourage you to continue to support them. And then they were designed to, at the point that you're weak and cannot resist or fight back, to then physically and openly attack you and to destroy your lives, which is really what you're seeing manifest right now across not only our land, but now it has affected the whole world. So now these demon hybrid, your alien Europeans, have pretty much destroyed the political platforms of the entire planet globe. And the people are looking at the corporate entities and not to the people who have actually been attacking you. It's unfortunate, but I suggest this. Stop looking for them to solve your problem, because they're not. They can only, the one who poisoned your well is only going to put more poison in it. So let's get that very clear. You're going to have to go, and it is wise that you go into the depths of your mind, into the depths of your honor of yourself, into the honor of your mothers and fathers that came before you, i.e. your ancestors. Relearn your culture, relearn the earth, reattach yourself to the life force on this planet, to the plants that were always there to heal you, and understand anything that the Roman Curia members present to you as cure or healing is always there and only there to poison you, to make you sicker, or to take you off the planet. Hard truth, fact. Get over it. But I think, and I trust, that the miseries that we all are going through at this time is hard enough to wake you up for real and stop pretending that some mystery devil is doing this to you, or some circumstance of a bug that fell out of the air is making you sick. And understand everything that's been happening to you has been calculated, has been structured, and intelligently forced upon you, put upon you, sprayed upon you, and contracted upon you. Now that's the fact. So now, for those of you who have any nature intelligence, respect the divine intelligence that you have and actually start coming together and get together with people of, good intelligence and intentions to solve problems. And this is one of their other strategies, because they know that this time will come. This is another reason why they want to keep people separate, because they don't want you to think. They don't want you to get together with people who do think and that can tell you certain truths that some of you, I know some of you have, but some of you haven't been listening before. But they know after they put this burden on your back that a lot of you, sort of like a balloon that's got that somebody set on, pushes the air out, like this bubble type thing, blow that wax out your ears. And some people who weren't listening before are wide open to listen now, but they don't have a platform to get the information. And the hybrid Romans are hoping they can kill some of these people off before they wake up and recognize who the enemy really is and was and still intends to be. Now, harsh truth, yes. Don't get mad at the messenger. I'm just telling you, and it's not like a lot of other people haven't been telling you. And even you'll have a lot of Albion sons and daughters are now starting to tell the people the truth, because they've lost their so-called middle class status, and it's not in their interest to maintain the lie anymore. However, the fact of the matter is they're still arguing over an estate that's not theirs. Unfortunate. But they cannot say, and it cannot be said for the record, that the Moors have not been generous with the European sons and daughters, or when we ceded Europe to them, and also with the Renaissance, and taught them science and taught them agriculture and taught them economy, taught them trade routes, etc. The fact that many of the hybrids started robbing and stealing everybody's goods, etc., and their lands, and murdering their women and children, logically, has created a lot of wars that should not have ever happened, but also indicates the ungratefulness that many of the alien hybrids have shown. Nevertheless, we're not going to argue the morality of it. That's just simply the fact of the matter. So let's look forward to doing positive things to make life better for all the humans on the planet. And one of the things, whether the people will look at it as unfortunate or not, they're going to have to recognize that the institutions that existed, that have caused injury on this planet, must be dismantled. Now, that is the truth. The best minds must come forth. The best hearts must come forth. The best love must come forth. And we must start solving problems. Dr. Nyla, when I was talking to you before, what were some of the pertinent things or questions that had came up that you had mentioned? Because we have so many people that were chiming in and chatting in and sending messages. I think you said over 30,000. There's no way that we could possibly, respond to everyone, but anything that's personal, I mean, that's common that we can address.
One of the common questions that is arising lately, getting a lot of calls and a lot of text messages about nationalization. Of course, as we talked about it, what's going on is forcing a lot of people to rethink their position and look at some of the things that they may have brushed aside, as not relevant to themselves. Now that they're feeling the pressure, they're feeling the crunch, and they remember, conversations somebody told them about nationality and birthright, and they want to know now. They want to know how to nationalize. There are other things, like I said, you mentioned earlier, about there being a government, and we do know that United Republic, they are working, Brother Abdullah, Brother Shem, and Sister Tamara in that group are working. We know that there is also, of course, the consulate, the Moorish American consulate. And so I do my best to try to, steer people to the ones that are actually doing what they're doing. But again, without proper knowledge, without studying, running to get paperwork done without anything, a foundation to stand upon with it is a problem, because I've gotten calls from people who rushed out and did certain things thinking that all they needed to do was fill out the paper and they were invincible.
Let's look at this, and you know how we always talk. I'm very honest about this whole thing. We have an unfortunate situation on multiple levels. And this is for humanity at large. Many, and I've got to be honest, many people who ignored the door when it was opened must suffer the consequence of having not gone through the door. And this is the reason why, and I'm telling you the truth, the reason why, because the platforms that were in place, although they were corrupt to the degree that they could or would respond, are dead. It's sort of like telling someone to get on a bus and telling them to get on the bus, and it's cool, but this party's happening, so it ain't right now, I'll catch the next one type thing. And the real deal is that the system that they've depended on has already collapsed. The information was being given to the people to limit or to minimize the injury that would be coming on us, if you get the point. Like Dooley will tell you, as an example, when Dooley used to work in Trenton, New Jersey. At that time, I told Dooley, And that was like 93, 94. I told Dooley, I said, Dooley, take your fiat out the bank. Don't buy any more new cars. Buy used cars if you're going to have one. If you can do without, don't do anything to contribute to the system because it's going to double back on you. And don't contribute to 401k plans because it's going to be a 409k plan. That's 93, 94, I told him, because I can see this stuff from way back. And the information that we give people, and we know that the people continue to support these institutions because they believed in them. They thought these institutions were there for their security, for their retirement, for their family security. These people are your enemies. They didn't begin to be your enemy. They always were. It's sort of like, it's an interesting paradox when you study some of our people is that they act like they don't know that these alien hybrid Europeans are colonists. And a colonist is to the political platform what a leech is to biology. What is it that you expected other than them to suck your blood? I mean, literal and figuratively. Now, nevertheless, let's get past that because it's just that I want to be honest, and I don't want to give a false hope.
You're not. Are you? Because I want to make sure you're not. Because there are people on this that are viewing and will view this who say, "Hey, I'm just coming into this knowledge. What do you mean? The bus is already gone, or the platform's dead." I understand what you're saying.
Know.
You were saying that while these structures that were in place were fraudulent, we could have used them in order to get our whatever
some of our house in order,
and some of our stuff that we needed to have presented to them.
Yes.
To them. Now that you said that they're collapsed.
They are collapsed, not collapsing. They're collapsed.
That they've collapsed.
Now
that doesn't
this
exist.
is what we now. This is what
so
we
what
do.
now then?
Now, again, this is because the dark priesthood. Because people got to understand that these people are demons for real.
I get it.
And they knew that this day was coming. This is why they have certain policy. It's when you know what they do. It's like chess. You know why they're separating the people. This is so that we can't help each other.
Right.
So they're making the natural social being unlawful.
Right.
They're making the nature of your existence unlawful under the guise still of being the government. These people are de facto. Now, where are we now with this? You have de facto operators who are still pretending to be government, and they're not. They're criminal occupiers, Roman Curia occupiers. They're warring on the people. Now, point. In the heart of hearts, the people know that. That's why the people are afraid to really get together, because they will send out the Roman commercial mercenaries on them, who we've been telling the people for decades are the gangs of New York, calling themselves policemen. They're not law officers, they're commercial mercenaries. To the degree that we can help each other, let us do so. Let us do with goodwill, with good intent, as much as we can to help our people and to help each other, because we need each other. We always did. But our people put their faith in the institutions of Rome that have not only failed them. Understand, the institutions didn't fail. They did what they were designed to do. That was to drain the resources and drop the carcass. This is why they have the spider web. You see the spider web that they have on the Federal Reserve note? Mm-hmm. Did people ever recognize that that's a spider web?
I didn't.
It symbolizes the widow spider. Because the attack is on the widow. See, let's get to some what's really symbolism. On the earth, on Midgard Earth, the Asiatic African woman is known as the widow. That's a fact. She's known as the widow, and she's referred to as the great Moabitess or the grand architect, which means she is the mother of human life on earth. That means all of the extended families of human on earth have their root in the womb, from the womb of the great Moabitess, i.e., commonly known as the Asiatic African woman, falsely called the black woman, which is a tag to remove her from the royal daughter of the moon status that she actually is. You can also look at it, for those of you that kind of get a message, look at in the Bible where you talk about the woman just standing on the moon above her head.
Oh, and the stars.
And she's impregnated. And then the demon is standing next to her to devour the child.
I know.
Why don't
they use that as a prophecy that was they said took place like a year or so ago. There was a lineup. Keep in mind this: prophecies are always projected checks of human experience. So the deal of it is your awakening is the new child. Now, since the demon's so bad, why don't he just eat her while she's pregnant before she gives birth? Because now he got a bigger sandwich. Nice taco. Why is he going to wait for the child to be born to devour the child when he can just devour her? Because she's God. But she forgot. But is not in the God sense that she's been told by the Romans. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. And they have claimed godship. And this is where all of your instrumentalities come from that they've set up. This is why they have claimed that the mothers have sold them their children with the birth certificates. That's why they call them guardians after that. They don't call you the mother and father. They call you guardians. And they claim the child. They've been murdering your child for generations. They've been eating them for generations. They've been selling the carcasses back to the people through burger joints. And we've been telling people this for decades and they don't believe us. My position is this: we're still breathing, we still talk, so we still can do something. We talked about the fact that it's in the title. It says, "Why is the way out? The way out is the way is up is the way out." Yes, we must ascend. Now, basically, what the hybrids. Sinus hybrids and Zion, people say Zion, Z-I-O-N, it's S-I-O-N. That's who it really is. And we're not talking about ourselves, the people who refer to as the real Jews, because Jews are cover up for those things that have been stolen from us. Are we clear? Mm-hmm. So the masses are confused because they think it's a religion. Do you understand? But it really is the culture and the people. But does it have anything to do with the priory of Zion, S-I-O-N? Remember that too? Yeah. Okay. Because that's now. So what you're talking about is an alien hybrid stealing or using the Sabian platform and claiming to be. This is why we told the people that they're claiming to be us. They're not us. And then they're claiming to be Jews, but are not Jews. Are we clear? Mm-hmm. That's what's in the book of John 8:44, that Yeshua, or the people called Jesus, that's what he's talking about. But you got to remember, Jesus was a Moabite. And his grandmother is Ruth the Moabitess. So he's a Moor too. He got hair like lamb's wool. He's not this Paleolith that they keep showing these people who's actually Roman. Although that's, anthropomorphic, if you get the point. We know that Jesus is the son, Ios, and of course that's the culture. So when you go into ancient Chaldea, he cooked up what you call Egypt, etc. And so when you go into the Coptic cross, what they call Coptic cross, Coptic is really
derivative of Hikupta, which I keep telling people Egypt is really Hikupta. That's where you get Ptah from. That's where you get Peter from. That's where you get Coptic from. Coptic is Kapa, Kupta, Coptic, that cross. Christianity, the real Christianity, is ours too. Islam is simply a version of the Coptic derivative. What they've been getting in the name of Christianity is really Constantine's order disguising themselves, pretending to be Jews. You get the point? But they keep thinking the different religions. That's the whole concept of religion is corrupted.
I mean,
it's hard to get people, until you can get them to really study the culture. We get lost into debate of beliefs that have nothing.
Can you talk about that exotic map and all of
yes. This is the exotic map in King Alfred. This is one of their military manuals of operations, as an example. Now, they only outline the jurisdiction of what is known, or what they commonly call, the United States. I'm going to try to get this on an angle where you can clearly see it. All right, featuring towns that actually exist. Right now, let me read some of these things to you so you can look at history and understand that these politicians look at the geography and the politics operating on our land differently than they've been teaching you in the institutions that they've been calling your schools. Camelot, Madras, Ontario, Nika, Dublin, Samoa, Habsburg, Algiers, Toledo, Odessa, London, Malta, France, Bern, Geneva, Java, Jordan, Sumatra, Amsterdam, Lima, Lucerne, Kingston, Perth, Moab, San Juan, Delta, Cuba, Valencia, Florence, Eden, London Bridge, Baghdad, Venice, Malaga, Sudan, Scotland, Paris, Ireland, Palestine, Milano, Togo, Roma, China, Australia, Barcelona, Santiago, Buenos Aires, Shakespeare's Globe Theater, Toronto, Cairo, Pisce, Lebanon, Cantano, Stockholm, Crete, Bremen, Palermo, Munich, Oslo, Scandinavia, Madrid, Galilee, Amazon, Salvador, Newfoundland, Tunis, Briskev, Flanders, Siberia, Holland, Sorrento, Mexico, Poland, Berlin, Greece, Moscow, Napoli, Sweden, Giuliano, Atlantis, Nassau, Kailan, Shanghai, Britain, Lubeck, Cologne, Turkey, Arabia, Siam, Nubia, Parthenon, Bogota, Waterloo, Zion, Bermuda, Egypt, Sparta, Italy, Sardinia, Oval Paraiso, Lisbon, Liverpool, Albania, Athens, etc., England, Morocco, Denmark, Bolivia, Edinburgh, Marseille, Belfast, Antwerp, Gibraltar, Rhodes, Copenhagen, Pompeii, Johannesburg, Krakow, etc., Rio, Brazil, which you already know, etc., Lubeck. So the deal of it is, many times when they're talking about other jurisdictions, they're actually talking about here in the north. And in all their secret societies, they refer to the heartland of the Moroccan Empire as the U.S. of America, which is really Societas Republica Morocco, or Moroccanos, etc. Now, the deal of it is, the United States in its political platform exists before the hybrid European takeover, but it is not theirs. It's actually yours. And there's so much to learn or to relearn or to go back to. And again, for those who are concerned, we're still here. They haven't killed all of us off, and all of us are not sick mentally and physically. They intend to rid as many as they can before the world wakes up and deals with them in whatever manner is necessary. However, we put it this way: as the sister that they robbed her script and made the movie The Matrix, the real deal is you've just been unplugged from the Matrix, like for real, like for real. And what I'm suggesting is that we all calm down, get real, get love, get God, and we're talking about proper government ordinance departments, and start fixing some problems. Because we need each other now, like really. Because understand that these platforms that these people have been looking forward to, they're not coming back. Not at all. And the best thing we can do is start getting these people out of the way who have been hindering humanity. Get these people out of the way who have been sucking on us in the name of gods and devils and pretending to bring solutions that they did not have and never intended to present. And start dealing with reality. And we are now in true reality check. So like we always say, get over it, get over our egos, and get real, and not necessarily give up. But as you can see, the pressures that are upon all of us is really commanding that we actually use our intelligence and stop being docile followers. The age of followers is over. The age of sacrificial lambs is over. So stop looking for a sacrificial lamb and let us come together and aid one another. Again, Dr. Naila, some of the other points of reference that we were dealing with a few weeks back, can you make reference to them?
I didn't really get a chance to go back over all of that, but I will. There are a couple of things that have been said during the, now, even there was a person who asked, let me see if I could find it, wanted to know how they get information about writing by hand in lowercase and red and in red ink.
Capitis nolo.
Yeah.
Now, this is the deal. Capitis nolo, and this is reality. Many of the people, as you know, when we've been over the years, 25 to 40 years, that we've been doing documents and teaching people to do writs, to make claim of their estate, we would have them sign in red. That's because we are actually the descendants of the ancient Canaanites, Moabites, etc. And we are the actual heirs and nobles of the land. That's the truth. That's not a point of arrogance. That's just a point of truth. And it doesn't mean that we've been great or so, holy roly, because we haven't. Because us being out of order is part of how and why we fell too. It's not just that the hybrids are occupying us, is that we have strayed away from the idol, from the principles of our ancient mothers and fathers, and start following the idol gods of Rome and fell. And they just simply took advantage of it. Now that's just the truth. And they've been using our tendency to love and compassion actually against us. And that's the truth too. Whereas we, in the nature of ourselves and our culture, have always been forgiving, and we've kind of looked for the good in people, it's kind of hard for the people to recognize that the hybrid kind of acts from a perspective of usury and lovelessness. And it creates kind of confusion with our people because they're thinking or they're having expectations. Why are these people acting like this? And they hide it behind what they call racism and prejudice, but that's not what's really going on. They really don't understand the nature of these beings that they're dealing with, that they thought was totally human, and they're really not.